Emma Thompson sat by her small window in Manchester, watching the rain fall on the empty street below. Her tiny flat was quiet except for the sound of raindrops hitting the glass. She had been staring at her phone for the past hour, unable to believe what she had heard. The call from London had come at 3 in the morning. Her cousin Mary had been crying on the phone. "Emma, you need to come quickly. Grandma Rose is in the hospital. The doctors say she might not make it through the week." Emma's heart had stopped. Grandma Rose was the only family she had left when Emma was 12 years old. Her parents had died in a terrible car accident on a snowy winter night. Rose had taken Emma in without question. She had given up her quiet retirement to raise a sad, frightened little girl. Now Emma was 26 and worked as a nurse at the local clinic in Manchester. She loved helping people, but the job did not pay much money. Every month, she saved whatever pennies she could. She had been saving for almost a year to visit her grandmother in London. The train ticket cost too much, and the bus took too long. Flying was expensive, but it was the only way to get there quickly. Emma opened her small wooden box where she kept her savings. She counted the notes and coins carefully. The flight to London would cost almost everything she had saved. But she did not hesitate. Grandma Rose had given her everything when she needed it most. Now it was Emma's turn to be there for her. She packed her old blue bag with shaking hands. She put in her warmest clothes, family photos that showed her and Rose together, and a special box of tea that her grandmother loved. Emma also packed her heart medications that she needed to take every day. Her heart had been weak since she was a child. Another reminder of that terrible night when everything changed. The bus ride to Manchester Airport took an hour. Emma sat by the window, watching the city wake up. She thought about all the times Rose had taken care of her when she was sick. She remembered the bedtime stories, the warm soup on cold days, and the gentle hugs that made everything better. At the airport, Emma felt completely lost. Everything looked different from the last time she had flown 3 years ago. There were new signs everywhere, and the security area looked much bigger. People were standing in long lines, and many of them looked confused and frustrated. Emma joined the security line with her bag. When it was her turn, a kind security officer named David looked at her belongings. He was a tall man with grey hair and gentle eyes. He spoke in a soft, patient voice. "I am sorry, miss, but some of these items do not meet our new carry-on rules for 2025. David explained. "Your liquid containers are too big. Your electronics need to go through special screening, and this tea box needs to be checked differently now." Emma felt tears starting to fill her eyes. "I do not understand. What new rules? This tea is for my grandmother. She is very sick, and I need to see her." David noticed how upset Emma was. He had been working at the airport for 15 years. He had seen many travelers struggle with rule changes, but he could see that Emma was carrying more than just luggage. She was carrying worry and fear. "These new rules started this year," David said gently. "They can be very confusing. Liquids now have to be in containers smaller than 50 milliliters. Electronics need extra screening for safety. Some food items have new restrictions too." Emma looked at her bag helplessly. "I do not know what to do. I have never heard of these rules. I just want to see my grandmother before it is too late." David smiled warmly. "Do not worry, miss. We see this every day. These new rules are here to keep everyone safe. But we understand they can be overwhelming. Let me help you figure this out. That is what we are here for." He called over his colleague, a woman named Susan, who brought some empty containers. "We keep these for travelers who need help," David explained. You can transfer your liquids into these smaller containers. Emma watched as David and Susan carefully helped her repack everything. They showed her how to put her electronics in a separate tray. They explained which items needed special attention and which ones were perfectly fine. "You are very kind," Emma said, wiping her eyes. "I was so scared I would miss my flight." David patted her shoulder gently. "Everyone deserves to be with their family when they need them most. We are just here to help make that happen safely." As Emma walked toward her gate with her properly packed bag, she realized something important. Even in her darkest and most worried moments, there were good people ready to help. Sometimes the kindness of strangers could light up even the scariest situations. After David and Susan helped Emma understand the basic rules, she still felt confused and overwhelmed. Her hands were shaking as she tried to put her belongings into the right containers. The security area was crowded and noisy, and Emma felt like everyone was watching her struggle. She was trying to figure out how to pack her grandmother's special tea when she accidentally dropped the box. Tea leaves scattered across the floor, and Emma felt tears starting to fall again. She got down on her hands and knees, trying to collect the precious tea that her grandmother loved so much. "Excuse me," said a gentle voice above her. "I could not help but notice you are having trouble with the new rules. I have been through this many times. Would you like some help?" Emma looked up and saw a man in his 40s wearing a business suit. He had kind eyes and a warm smile. He was holding a small travel bag that looked very organized and neat. "I am James Wilson," he said, kneeling down to help her collect the tea leaves. "I travel from Liverpool to London every week for work. These new rules confused me to when they first started." Emma wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. "I am Emma. I am trying to get to London to see my grandmother. She is very sick, and the doctors say she might not have much time left. I do not understand all these new rules, and I am afraid I will miss my flight." James smiled warmly and helped her stand up. "Let me show you something. I always carry extra travel containers in my bag because I know how confusing these rules can be. You can have them." James opened his neat travel bag and pulled out several small, clear containers. "These are the right size for the new liquid rules. You can put your grandmother's tea in this one, and any other liquids in these others." Emma was amazed by his kindness. "You would really give these to me, but you might need them. I have plenty more at home," James said. "Besides, I know what it feels like to worry about family. My own mother was in the hospital last year, and strangers helped me when I was scared and confused." As James helped Emma organize her belongings properly, other passengers in the security line began to notice what was happening. An elderly woman with silver hair and a purple coat approached them. "I am Margaret," she said with a kind smile. "I could not help but overhear. I have some extra plastic bags if you need them. I always bring more than I need when I travel." Emma looked at Margaret with surprise. "You would help me too?" "Of course, dear," Margaret said. "I have been traveling for 40 years. I remember when these rules first started, and how scary they seemed. But you know what I have learned? People are good. They want to help each other." A young father standing nearby heard their conversation. He was holding his little daughter's hand, and she was carrying a small pink backpack. The man stepped forward. "I am Tom," he said. "I could not help but hear you mention medications. My daughter has special medicine she needs to take every day. I learned all about the new medication rules last month. I can explain them to you if you want." Emma felt overwhelmed. But this time it was because of kindness, not confusion. "You would all help me, but you do not even know me." Tom smiled and adjusted his daughter's backpack. "That does not matter. We are all trying to get somewhere important. We all have people we love waiting for us. James finished helping Emma pack her liquids into the proper containers. Margaret gave her extra plastic bags for electronics. Tom explained how to properly pack her heart medications so they would pass through security without problems. You know, Margaret said, looking round at the group of helpful strangers. These new rules seemed scary at first, but look what has happened. They have brought us all together. We are all just trying to get home to the people we love. Emma felt her heart grow warm despite her worry about her grandmother. She looked round at James, Margaret, and Tom, who had all stopped their own busy travels to help her. I cannot believe how kind you all are, Emma said. This morning I felt so alone and scared. Now I feel like I have friends. James packed up his own bag and prepared to continue through security. That is what travel is really about. We are all on journeys to reach the people who matter to us. When we help each other along the way, the journey becomes less scary. As Emma walked through the security scanner with her properly packed belongings, she realized something beautiful. Even in busy, stressful places like airports, kindness still existed. Strangers could become friends in just a few minutes when they chose to help instead of just walking by. She thought about her grandmother Rose, who had always taught her that the world was full of good people if you know how to look for them. After Emma successfully passed through the main security checkpoint with help from her new friends, she felt relieved and grateful. Her bags were properly packed, and she thought the hardest part was over. She was walking toward her gate when another security officer stopped her. "Excuse me, miss." The officer said politely, "We need to do an additional check on one of your items." Emma's heart started beating fast again. "What item?" "I thought everything was okay now." The officer pointed to her carry-on bag. "It's the scarf you're wearing. Our new textile screening system has flagged it for additional checking. This is a new security measure that started this year." Emma looked down at the scarf wrapped around her neck. It was her most precious possession in the whole world. The scarf was old and worn, made from soft wool that her grandmother Rose had spun herself many years ago. Rose had made it during the long winter months when Emma was 14. Working on it every evening by the fireplace. "This scarf?" Emma asked, touching it gently. "But it's just an old scarf." "My grandmother made it for me," the security officer, LOOKD, sympathetic but firm. "I understand, miss. But the new rules require us to screen all handmade textiles separately. It will need special checking, and the process can take up to 30 minutes. I'm sorry. But you might miss your flight." Emma felt like the world was falling apart around her. The scarf was the last gift her grandmother had given her before Emma moved to Manchester for work. It was more than just a piece of clothing. It smelled like her grandmother's house, like lavender from the garden and old books from the library where Rose used to read to her. Emma wore the scarf whenever she felt sad or alone. When she had bad days at work, she would wrap it round her shoulders and feel like her grandmother was hugging her. When she felt scared or worried, she would hold it close and remember all the times Rose had comforted her. "Please," Emma said, her voice breaking, "I cannot miss this flight. My grandmother is dying, and this scarf is all I have left of her. What if I never see her again?" Tears started falling down Emma's face. She felt like she was losing everything that mattered to her. First her parents, then having to move away from her grandmother, and now maybe losing her last chance to say goodbye. An airport volunteer noticed Emma's distress and approached her. The woman was about 70 years old, with silver hair and kind, understanding eyes. She wore a blue vest that said "Airport Helper" and had a gentle smile that reminded Emma of her grandmother. "Hello, dear," the woman said softly. "I am Helen. I have been helping passengers here for over 10 years. I can see that scarf means everything to you." Emma wiped her eyes with a tissue. "It does mean everything to me. My grandmother made it, with her own hands. She spent months working on it, and she gave it to me when I had to move away for work. I wear it when I miss her." Helen nodded with understanding. "I lost my own mother 5 years ago. After she died, I kept trying to hold onto all her things. I thought that if I kept her clothes, her jewelry, and her books, I could keep her close to me. I was afraid that if I lost her things, I would lose her memory too." Emma felt a connection with Helen immediately. "That is exactly how I feel. This scarf is like having a piece of her with me always, if they take it away for testing. What if something happens to it? What if I lose it?" Helen took Emma's hand gently. "Sweet girl, let me tell you something I learned after many years of grief. Your grandmother's love is not in that scarf. It is in here," she said, pointing to Emma's heart. "That love travels with you wherever you go. No security check can take that away." Emma looked at Helen with tears in her eyes. "But how can I feel close to her without it?" Helen smiled warmly. "Close your eyes for a moment. Think about your grandmother. What do you remember most about her?" Emma closed her eyes and thought. She remembered Rose's warm hugs, her gentle voice reading bedtime stories, her patient hands teaching Emma how to cook. She remembered the way Rose would hum while she worked in the garden, and how she always had time to listen when Emma had problems. "I remember her love," Emma whispered. "I remember how she made me feel safe and cared for." Helen nodded. "That is what you carry with you always. The scarf is beautiful, but it is just a reminder. The real gift she gave you was her love, her care, and the strength she taught you to have." Emma realized Helen was right. The most important things we carry cannot be lost or taken away by any security check. After Emma made the difficult decision to let security check her precious scarf, she finally boarded the plane to London. She had been worried about missing a flight, but Helen's words had given her strength. The scarf was safely returned to her after the screening. Now she was on her way to see her grandmother Rose. Emma found her seat near the middle of the plane. She was tired from all the stress and emotion of the morning, but she felt grateful to be flying toward the person she loved most in the world. She put her small bag under the seat in front of her and settled in for the short flight daughter she was. Buckling her seat belt, she noticed the woman sitting next to her looked very worried and upset. The woman was young, maybe in her early 20s, with light brown hair and tired eyes. She was holding a baby boy who looked to be about 6 months old. The baby was fussing and making soft crying sounds. The young woman was trying to quiet the baby while also organizing a large diaper bag that was overflowing with bottles, formula containers, baby supplies. Her hands were shaking as she tried to find what she needed. "Are you okay?" Emma asked gently. "I am Emma. Is there anything I can help you with?" The woman looked up with grateful eyes. "I'm Kate," she said in a whisper. "This is my son Jack. I am traveling alone with him for the first time, and I am so scared I am doing everything wrong." Emma could see that Kate was trying not to cry. The baby was getting more upset, and other passengers were starting to look in their direction. Emma's heart went out to both of them. "What are you most worried about?" Emma asked, using the calm voice she used at work when helping patients. Kate looked down at her bag of baby supplies. "I do not understand these new rules about baby formula. At the airport, they told me some of my formula containers were not allowed. I had to throw some away. And now I'm worried I do not have enough for Jack during the flight." Emma remembered her own confusion at the airport just hours before. She remembered how scared she had felt when she did not understand the new rules. She also remembered how much better she had felt when kind people had helped her. "I am a nurse," Emma said with a gentle smile. "I work with families and babies every day. Let me help you understand the rules, and if there is any problem during the flight, I will talk to the flight crew for you." Kate's face lit up with relief. "You would really help me. You do not even know me." Emma smiled and thought about James, Margaret, Tom, and Helen. "Someone helped me today when I was scared and confused. Now it is my turn to help you. That is how kindness works. It passes from one person to another." Emma looked at Kate's bag of baby supplies. She explained the new rules about baby formula. In simple terms, the new rules say you can bring formula, but it has to be in containers smaller than 100 milliliters. You can bring as many small containers as you need, but each one has to be the right size. Kate looked confused. "But Jack drinks more than 100 milliliters at a time. How can I feed him?" Emma showed Kate how to mix the formula properly using multiple small containers. You can mix 2 or 3 small containers together to make one full bottle. It is the same formula, just divided into smaller containers. As Emma was explaining this, little Jack started crying louder. He was hungry and tired, and the noise of the airplane was making him more upset. Kate looked embarrassed as other passengers turned to look at them. "I am so sorry," Kate whispered. "I do not know how to make him stop crying." Emma gently reached over. "May I try to help calm him down? I have experience with babies at the clinic where I work." Kate nodded gratefully. Emma spoke to baby Jack in a soft, soothing voice. She showed Kate how to hold him in a way that would help him feel more secure. She helped Kate prepare a bottle using the proper mixing technique for the new formula rules. Soon, Jack was drinking his bottle quietly and looking up at Emma with curious eyes. Kate looked amazed and grateful. "How did you know how to do that?" Kate asked. Emma smiled. "Practice. And also remembering that babies can feel when we are calm or worried. When we stay calm, they feel safer too." As the plane took off, Emma helped Kate organize all of Jack's supplies so they would be easy to find during the flight. She showed her how to prepare bottles ahead of time and how to keep Jack comfortable during the flight. "Thank you so much," Kate said, with tears of relief in her eyes. "I was so scared to travel alone with him. I thought I was a terrible mother because I did not understand all the rules." Emma patted Kate's arm gently. "You are not a terrible mother. You are a loving mother who is doing her best. That is what matters most." The plane landed at London Heathrow Airport just as the sun was beginning to set. Emma had spent the entire flight helping Kate with baby Jack, and the experience had made her feel stronger and more confident. She had almost forgotten her own worries while focusing on helping someone else as the plane taxied to the gate. Emma gathered her belongings quickly. She said goodbye to Kate and little Jack, who was now sleeping peacefully in his mother's arms. "Thank you for everything," Kate whispered. "I could never have managed this flight without you. You are an angel." Emma smiled and squeezed Kate's hand. "Take care of yourself and that beautiful baby. You are doing a wonderful job as a mother." Emma rushed through the airport, her heart pounding with excitement and worry. She had not seen her grandmother rose in over tears, and she was afraid of what she might find. The taxi ride to St. Mary's Hospital felt like the longest 30 minutes of her life. When Emma arrived at the hospital, the evening sky was painted with soft colors of pink and orange. She ran through the main entrance and asked the receptionist for directions to room 237. Her hands were shaking as she pressed the elevator button. The hospital corridors were quiet and clean, with soft lighting that made everything feel peaceful. Emma walked quickly down the hallway, checking the room numbers until she found the right one. She took a deep breath and gently pushed open the door. Her grandmother Rose was lying in a narrow hospital bed, surrounded by machines and tubes. She looked much smaller and thinner than Emma remembered, but her eyes were still bright and full of love. When Rose saw Emma, her face lit up with the most beautiful smile. "Emma, my dear girl," Grandma Rose whispered in a weak but happy voice. "You came. I knew you would come." Emma rushed to the bedside and sat in the chair next to her grandmother. She took Rose's then, warm hand in both of hers. "Of course I came, Grandma. I would never let you go through this alone." Emma opened her bag and pulled out the special tea she had brought from Manchester. "I brought your favorite tea, the one you always made for me when I was sad. And I brought some photos of us together from when I was little." Grandma Rose smiled weakly, but her eyes were full of joy. "You brought yourself. Love. That is all I needed. That is all I ever needed." Emma spent the next hour telling her grandmother about her journey to London. She described the confusion at the airport with the new carry-on rules, and how kind strangers had helped her when she felt lost and scared. She told Rose about James, who gave her travel containers, Margaret, who shared her plastic bags, and Tom, who explained the medication rules. She also told her grandmother about Helen, the airport volunteer who had helped her understand that love lives in the heart, not in objects. Finally, she described how she had helped Kate and baby Jack on the airplane, and how good it felt to help someone else. Grandma Rose listened to every word with a peaceful smile on her face. When Emma finished her story, Rose squeezed her hand gently. "Those rules were not there to stop you, my dear," Grandma Rose said softly. "They were there to teach you something important. Sometimes the obstacles we face in life are not meant to stop us. They are meant to show us what really matters." Emma stayed with her grandmother for the next 3 days. They talked about old memories, looked at family photos, and shared many quiet moments together. Emma helped feed Rose and made sure she was comfortable. She read to her from old books and sang the lullabies that Rose had sung to her as a child. On the 3rd evening, Grandma Rose passed away peacefully, with Emma holding her hand and whispering words of love. Emma felt sad but also grateful that she had been able to be there for her grandmother's last moments. The funeral was held 5 days later in a small church in London. Emma was surprised to see relatives she had not seen in years. Her cousins, aunts, and uncles all came to say goodbye to Rose. They shared stories about her kindness and how she had helped them through difficult times in their lives. Emma realized that her grandmother's greatest gift was not the handmade scarf or the specialty or the family photos. It was the lesson about carrying love in your heart and sharing it with others whenever you could. When Emma returned to Manchester, she felt different. She had learned something important about kindness and helping others. She decided to start a small support group at Manchester Airport to help nervous travelers understand the new carry-on rules. She called it Rose's Helpers in memory of her grandmother. Every weekend, Emma volunteered at the airport, helping confused passengers navigate the new regulations. She gave them travel containers, explained the rules in simple terms, and offered comfort to those who were worried or scared. The indie